guys, how are you? We're back from convention. We're excited and to get going. And we didn't, things didn't work out for us to present all the material we wanted to you on the launch meeting and launch call and launch checklist. So we thought we would do a video and do that here and provide you some more training on that. So one thing that happened was at convention, a consultant on our team, a few levels down, came up to me and said, you know, I feel so guilty. I have a few people on my team and I just feel like I didn't get them started right and they kind of haven't really done anything. They were excited in the beginning and now they've kind of fizzled out and I feel like it's my fault that I failed them and I feel so guilty about that. What should I do? Now, can I ask you a question? Have you ever had that happen to you where maybe you felt that way about people you had enrolled or maybe you felt that way about the person that enrolled you?
Absolutely.
Okay. If you've enrolled more than 2 or 3 consultants, you probably had that experience. Have you had that experience?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
over
feel
and over
bad.
again.
I should have done things differently,
Right.
So there's no reason you can't go back and relaunch that person using the material we're going to talk to right now. And for sure, with new people, you want to use this material to get them started right.
Yeah,
okay?
absolutely.
Yeah, so the purpose of this is we have the Getting Started program in the back office that is the text-based program that consultants are automatically taken through when they enroll. But what would you say is the difference between that program and what we're talking about here today?
Well, this program right here, the launch meeting or call, is really all about relationships. And it gets you talking to them every single week, and you're just really staying right by their side to ensure their success.
Yeah. So the one in the back office, the corporate automated program, the purpose of that is really to teach them things like how do you set up your consultant website? How do you get your direct deposit set up? What are the details on Fast Track? Things like that. Okay, the difference here is this is a relationship building tool, okay?
Yes.
It's also a duplication tool. Okay, so let's get right into it.
So Eric Worre says relationships equal retention equals success. And some of the most successful teams out there have really strong relationships. And so if we want our teams to succeed, we have to have personal relationships with every single one of them so that that will ensure their success going forward.
Yep. And remember that it's those relationships is what keeps people in the business. Okay, I can't tell how many people we talked to at convention who said the reason I'm still in this, I've struggled, I made mistakes, but the reason I'm still in it is the people, it's the relationships that I have.
Yeah.
So it's so important to build those relationships to people.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so let's get right into this. So the first thing you're going to do is after a new consultant enrolls is you're going to set up a launch meeting. It could be a face-to-face meeting, a phone call, a Skype, a FaceTime, anything. Ideal, I would say, would be a face-to-face meeting, right? If you can do that. And this is going to be probably about a 30 to 45 minute meeting or call.
Yeah.
Okay. Next, if they're not in the same area and you can't do it face-to-face, do it on a phone call or FaceTime, but do it within 2 or 3 or 4 days of them enrolling.
The faster you can do this, the better.
Yep. So the first thing you want to do in the checklist is to set or to validate their decision, right?
Right.
So why do you think that's so important? You had a consultant where this kind of a situation happened, right?
Right. So validating their decision is huge because they go to a tasting or you talk to them one-on-one and they go home and they start getting the negative input, right? And this is what happened with this new consultant, and she talked to her husband and it kind of took the wind out of her sails. And so I just talked to both of them and I reassured him that going forward that I was going to be with her, I was going to be training her, and that she would have success if she did the things that I trained on.
Yeah.
And so
validating a concern could just be saying right when you start off the meeting.
Validating their decision.
Why do I keep saying that? Sorry. So it could be just something as simple as saying something like, "I am so excited to have you on my team,"
Right.
or "You have made such a great decision. You are going to love this. This is such a great company." Think just simple things like that. This is about 15 or 20 seconds. This is not, you don't spend
Yeah,
a
this
lot
isn't
of,
a lot,
lot of time on
but
it.
it is validating their decision. You know, you tell them how much fun it's going to be and all the things that they have to look forward to being on your team.
Yeah.
So I
Because
think
there
it's
will be doubts. They will go
There
home
will
and they'll
be.
be, oh, what have I done? I've another one of these. They'll hear that from people.
Right.
So it's so important that you validate that. The next thing is you want to do is set proper expectations.
Right.
I'm gonna have to put my glasses on to be able to read these. So the first thing, why don't you talk about that? The first thing you want to do in setting proper expectations.
setting proper expectations. The first thing out of the gates is your success or your failure will be up to you. I feel like the setting proper expectations, I feel like a real parent, because this is kind of some of the stuff I told my boys when I was raising them. Your success or your failure depends on you,
Yeah.
not me, because
Yeah.
I'm not doing your one-on-ones. I'm not doing your
Yeah,
parties.
I'm going to be here to help you
Yeah.
every step of the way, but it's up to you. Let them
Right.
know that.
Right.
The next thing is our goal for you, my goal for you, is to make you independent of me as quickly as possible.
Yes.
Now, how do you do that? You teach them to use the tools that we rolled out at convention. All the literature, the presentation guide, the flip chart, this getting started checklist, all of these things are tools that will help them become independent of you. Now, that doesn't mean they're not going to need to talk to you anymore, but it's just the daily task of being a consultant. They won't have to rely on you for everything. So that's your goal. You tell them, our goal is to get you independent of me and doing this on your own as quickly as possible.
But for sure, you will be their biggest cheerleader ever. You will always be their
Yep.
biggest cheerleader. However, you want them to establish the team. You want them to duplicate. You want them to use the tools that you're giving them.
Yep. Next one.
The next one is there are going to be ups and downs. This isn't easy. This is tough. Business is always tough. So get ready for the ups and the downs. Sometimes you're going to go to a party and nobody's going to show. Get ready for those. Get ready for the party where you come away with 4 consultants and 3 deliveries. There's an up, and get ready for both of them. But it's
Yep. Letting
Be
them know
prepared.
that that's going to happen is so important, so that when it does happen, and it will, it's happened to all of us. If you've done more than 2 or 3 or 4 tastings, it's happened to you, right?
Right.
And so let them know that's going to happen.
The next thing is this is going to take time. This is not get rich overnight, some get rich quick scheme. This will take time. So be patient with yourself, be patient with others, and you will find success there.
Yep. And right along with that is it's going to take work. This takes a lot of work. It's not easy, okay? But it is simple. We have a simple, duplicatable process that you can follow, but it's going to take work, okay? And we're going
Also-
to talk a little bit more about how much work later.
Right. And it requires personal growth. I mean, this is a business of getting out of your box. I don't know a whole lot of people that love talking in front of other people, or you have to really stretch and grow in this business. And it really, at the end of the day, you will find that this business helps you in so many different areas of your life. I know it has for me. And it just stretches you as a person. Just getting on camera here, it's a stretch for me.
Yep.
You know, I would rather just stay at home, do my thing, but I realize that I have to share with others and I have to get on camera sometimes. And speaking in front of people, it's not the easiest thing for some people. So stretching and growing, getting outside your box, for sure.
And right along with that personal growth is developing skills. You're gonna want to let them know there are some skills you're going to need to develop, and I'm going to teach you how to do that. The company training is going to teach you how to do that. But there are some things you probably haven't done in other, whether you've been out working or being home being a mom or whatever it is. Things like learning how to really invite people to take a look at your business. Presentation skills. There are going to be skills that you're going to need to develop, but we have a simple, proven way to teach you those, and I'm going to teach you how to do it. But let them know that's going to be required.
And lastly, it takes focus and mental toughness. Now, this is an area that I don't have a great. I'm all over the place, and in my house, I'm doing laundry and I'm getting ready for this dinner and I'm doing all kinds of things. So it really takes a lot of focus. And I just read a great book. I'm just going to just throw it out there to you guys. It's called Make Your Bed. And it's about doing the little things every single day and getting in the habit of really staying focused. And I love this book and lots of great advice in there. So I'm just going to throw that out there. But mental toughness, because I don't know how to explain it. I mean, we've been
Well, it
doing
goes back to you're going to have ups and downs,
You are
right?
gonna have ups
so you've
and
got
downs.
to know that ahead of time and be mentally tough so you can fight through those
and
times.
always focus on your why. I guess that's the deal. Like I always go back to why I started this. And when I do that, then I go, okay, I can make it through today. And so mental toughness and focus is very important.
So that portion of the checklist of the meeting is probably maybe another 3 to 5 minutes, just going through the expectations, okay, explaining that to them. So you're now probably less than 5 minutes into the meeting, okay?
Yeah.
The next part is making sure that they have all the tools and systems that they need to succeed. Some of those things would be the company's getting started program. It would be
Your fast track.
the fast track, all the literature, making sure if they either that they have their starter kit or that it's on the way. Ask them, have you received your starter kit? No. Do you have a tracking number? Do you know when it's going to come? Okay. So you kind of know when that's coming. Making sure, here's another thing that we talk a lot about convention about, is making sure they have downloaded the flip chart. Okay, now the flip chart, it does not get them the starter kit, but we highly recommend that you teach your new people to use a flip chart for presentations.
Just in the beginning, because you can be all over the place with a presentation, but the flip chart really keeps you on track. So even if you're not following it totally, it makes sure that you hit the important points. I would forget about consulting. I would forget about hosting in the beginning because the nerves set in, right? So you just want something there to just kind of remind you, just like we have this piece of paper right here. It reminds us what we're talking about.
Yeah.
So the
I
flip chart is
call
great,
the flip chart not a presentation tool, but a duplication tool.
for sure.
Because the flip chart, and we heard this over and over again at convention, is I can't tell you how many times consultants have used a flip chart to do a presentation at the end, invite people to take a look at being a consultant. People saying, I could never do what you do. I couldn't stand up there and present this stuff. And then showing the flip chart and saying, look, the words are on the back. All I did was just showed you the pictures and just read the words on the back.
So it gives,
and people think, oh, well, I could do that.
yeah,
That
so give
sounds
somebody
really easy.
else, an outsider looking in, the confidence to really go, oh, I could do that.
So there is a new presentation guidebook called the Simple Clean Food brochure in the new starter kits, and that's a great way to present the product and the opportunity. But the flip chart is another really powerful tool. So you want to make sure that if your new consultant needs that you show them where they can get it in the back office and make sure they download it, and they're going to have to print it themselves and get it bound. So you can send it directly to a FedEx store, Office Max, or Staples or something like that, and have it printed and bound so that you can use it as a flip chart. It's all set up that way.
Yep.
Make sure that they have
The earning potential.
the earning potential, which we're going to talk about in a few minutes. Make sure they join the Facebook support groups. Make sure they've joined Million Dreams team and the consultant Facebook group. And maybe there's one about navigating social media. The ones that you like and you're part of, encourage them to do it. Now, don't overwhelm them. So you want to just probably get them, on your team one, on the main consultant one. And then if they really want to grow a business, get them on the Million Dreams team group. Do it.
Yep. Also, I think
directly.
it's important as we get the referral program up and going, the referral link is going to be really important that they know where that is and how they can share it with their friends.
Just go through the tools, make sure they have everything. That's maybe another 3 to 5 minutes. So now we're probably 10 minutes into the meeting. Okay, now we start getting into the meat of it. The next thing you want to help them do is what?
Become a raving fan.
Yep.
I know nobody that has done a party successfully without tasting something in that kit. You have to start tasting, and that's why there's duplicates. All the on the goes, there's 2 in each of the actually I'm talking about the 265 kit, but there's 2 in there, so you can taste one. 2 simple plates that you can have one and you can go share.
Yep.
So anyway,
so it's
want
very
them to
important because they become passionate about the food, because that's the first thing they're going to be able to share to people, and people will feel that passion. So it's so important for them to start using it. The other reason that you want to give them some assignments. Okay, have you got your starter kit? No, yet. Have you got your starter kit yet? Let's just pretend you're a consultant.
No, I haven't.
When's it coming? Do you have a tracking number?
Next Tuesday.
Okay, so it's going to be there on Tuesday. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to get it out. I want you to make one of the to-go meals, and I want you to make a simple plate for your family. Can you do that?
Oh,
Can you do that
absolutely.
Tuesday night?
Yeah.
Okay, then I want you to call me either Tuesday night or Wednesday morning and let me know how it goes.
Okay.
Can you do that?
Yeah.
Okay, you up for
But
that? That's what Sherry would say. Now, why do we do that? Why do we give them that
back
assignment?
up, because Sherry would say, can you call me at 10 or can you call me at 2? 2 works better.
So the
So you-
reason this is so important is you want to have them help them have success their first time, and you also want to nip it in the bud right away if they have problems. So what happens often for me when I'm making simple plates?
Too much water. He follows the wrong instructions.
Yeah, I'm making a 2-person and I accidentally use the 4-person. If I'm not
Every
wearing my
single time.
glasses, I do it all the time. Okay, so if they get it and said, yeah, I made that simple plate and it was kind of
Really
watery, it was
soupy.
kind of mushy, you can immediately say, well, did you use the 2-person water or the 4-person? Well, I don't know. I used the one in orange. That's the 4-person. Okay, you need so that you can, if they have a problem, or I made the chicken salad and yeah, the chicken was kind of crunchy. So you could ask, did you use hot water? Okay, no, I used cold. Okay, well, with cold, you need to let it sit a little bit longer. Or with hot, maybe you didn't let it sit long enough. Make sure you wait about 8 to 10 minutes. So you can correct those problems right off the bat if they have any, okay?
Yep.
So what's the next thing we want to do?
The next thing is to set a goal and a plan.
Yep, set a goal, work with them to set a goal and a plan, okay? So now's where we get into the meeting. We're probably 10 or 15 minutes into the meeting. The rest of the meeting is where the real important stuff happens. So the first thing you want to do is find out why they joined and what their goals and objectives are. The way that we do that, a great way to do that is to use the earning potential document, okay? Now you can see right here that they can look at this and they can see where they fit up in the top portion. They can say, I want to make this much money, and then over to the right it shows what's this going to take typically to be able to make this much money.
Yeah, and
right?
a good thing to tell them is imagine yourself making some money. Where would you put yourself in this document? You know, do you want to make 1,000 a month? Do you want to make 500 a month? Tell me
Yep.
where you want to, you know, imagine. So put them in that place, right?
Yep.
There.
So
where
let's
they're
just
actually-
role play that. So if
Okay.
I was to show you that document and I said, so Lisa, really excited, you know, tell me why you joined Thrive Life as a consultant.
I love the food and I'm a healthy person, so I think it will fit really well with my family.
Okay. Are you interested in making a little money?
Absolutely.
Okay. So if you look at this document here, this earning potential, where do you see yourself?
I kind of see myself like I'm going to start out right at about the $500 mark.
So you'd like to make about $500
Yeah.
a month. Okay. So tell me, how much time do you have to put into this each week?
You know, I've kind of mapped it out for myself, and I think I can do like a party a week.
One party a week?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And how much time outside of that do you think you can devote? Outside of doing the party, maybe during the day or while your kids are
Yeah.
at school for phone calls and host coaching and things like that.
I have a good solid 2-hour window that I can.
Just one day a week.
No, a few days a week.
Okay, so it sounds like you could put in about 8 to 10 hours a week.
Yes.
Okay, then I think $500 a month is very doable for you to be able to do within a couple of months.
Okay.
Sound good?
Yeah, that sounds great.
Okay, so you want to kind of go through that with them. Now, if Lisa was to say, yeah, I want to make $500 a month, and yeah, I really don't have time to do tastings, and I can probably put in a couple hours a week, you're right there going to be able to say, okay, that's just not reasonable, right?
Right.
And you can kind of start talking to them about, well, when maybe they do have some time. Do you have any time on Saturdays, maybe in the morning or afternoon?
Yeah.
You know,
After soccer games, yeah, I think
okay,
I do.
that tends to be a good time for a lot of people.
Right.
So could you maybe do, 2 or 3 Saturdays a month? Could you think you could do
Sure.
a tasting there? Okay, so you maybe can go through and help them find sometimes they could do it, but kind of mapping out when they can do it, helping them identify the number of hours. Like, let's just say I can probably put in 10 hours. Okay, well, what are those 10 hours going to look like? Okay,
Right.
when do you have available to do tastings, and when do you have available to make phone calls and follow up and input orders and all that kind of thing?
And another important question to ask them once they identified the money, what will you do with the money?
Yep.
You know, that is really important because if they're, they've always wanted to go to wherever, Disneyland, or maybe she wants to make a car payment, or she wants to put her girls in dance. Identify why that money, that particular amount is important to her,
Yep.
because that will help you guide her.
Yep. So really the money is what they want out of it, but what they will do with that money is their why. Okay.
Yeah.
If that's like, so I can quit my job, I want to be able to make $1,200 a month so I can quit my part-time job, or I want to be able to make $500 a month so I can pay for my kids' dance and lessons and soccer, club soccer, whatever it is, that's their why.
Right.
So you really want to be able to pull that out of them. So
Right.
thanks for pointing that out. That's really important. The next thing you want to do, if they are interested in making several $100s or more, this is where you really want to dive into the next part of this. And you want to help them achieve what we call a foundation rank. Now, foundation rank is a rank where it takes some effort, it takes building a team. It's not something they can just do by going out 1 month, getting a few one-time sales and hit it. So we would say that would probably be director. So map out a plan for them to hit director in the time that you think, based on what they can put into it, what they can do. And really that should be 60 to 90 days, maybe 120 days, depending on what they can devote. But remember, we talk about this, success loves speed. The faster they can do that, the quicker they hit that foundation rank, the more likely they are to stay and to have success in the business. Okay.
For sure.
Okay, so you want to help them map out their story. This story needs to be relatable. It needs to be something that the people she's talking to can relate to it and say, yeah, I have that same issue. Now, you remember at the beginning, I told you the story about the consultant who came to me at convention and said that they were struggling, that they had felt guilty, that they didn't get some of their team members started right, and those people were excited in the beginning and fizzled out, and she felt guilty. And I told you that story, and then I asked the question, have you ever felt that way? Now, most of you, if you, like I said, enrolled more than 2 or 3 people, have probably had this experience. That story immediately, you were able to relate to that and empathize with that person, and it kind of, you probably thought to yourself, yeah, that's me, I've done that. That's what a story can do, is help people connect to you, and that's what you're looking to do. So you want to help your new consultants develop that story right off the bat. There's a really simple way to do this. And the method that we want to use is called tell, show, try, do. Try, I can't talk.
Here, I'll talk for him.
You say it.
Tell, show, try, do.
Yeah, and an easy way to remember this is TSTD. Doesn't sound real pleasant, but if you just remember TSTD, tell, show, try, do. Okay, we're going to go through this right now, okay? I'll be like I'm the enroller and you're the new consultant, okay? So the first thing you want to do, you want to find out what their background and experience is, okay? So Lisa, let's go back to before you were a consultant. What were you doing?
I had 2 part-time jobs that I was working in. I was working in the scrapbook industry and also the packaging industry.
Okay. Did you have any kids at home?
Yes, 2 high schoolers.
Okay. And what were your struggles related to both your job and maybe being a mom?
The commute on the job was horrendous, and just gone all the time, and just really commuting. And then what was your other question? What
were your struggles? Struggles or guilt with being a mom? Did you have any?
Oh, I just wasn't home as much as I wanted to be.
Okay.
And so
anything with meals, like with preparing? Were you able to feed them healthy? Did you feel
I think
good
our
about
family ate pizza all the time because
Okay.
I was the worst mom ever, or McDonald's, or I would get home so tired that it was just like, we would just have whatever.
Okay, so let me see if I can get this right. So if I was Lisa, I would say, so before I found Thrive, I was working 2 part-time jobs. I was gone all the time. It was really frustrating because I couldn't be home as much as I wanted. I had a long commute. And when I come home, I was too tired to make a healthy, good meal for my family. So we ate out a lot more than I liked. Is that about sum it up? Okay.
Yeah.
So that's the first part. Help them find out what their experience and background is and what they were struggling with. That's part 2. So the important thing is that these things should be things that everyone can relate to. You don't want to use examples that nobody can relate to. I pulled some things out of Lisa that everybody can relate to, right? Okay, the next part is the solution. I found a solution. So tell me what about Thrive Life was it that made you want to join and made you want to do this?
Well, I think it was just the shift in the the food that allowed me to cook easier meals at night, and it was magic. I mean, I started cooking with this stuff, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this stuff is magic. And I found myself that I wasn't throwing out as much food anymore, and it lended more time around the table with my family, and I so wanted that. And so I felt like we got on track better to eat a healthier meal, and I could see also that my checks were going up, and so I could see hope at the end of that tunnel, that dark tunnel that you don't think you'll ever be able to quit your job, that possibly I would be able to replace my income.
Okay, so she said it way better than I could, but I would just now summarize that back to her. So let me understand this right. If I was you, I would say, so I found something that is like magic. It allows me to make meals in 15 to 20 minutes for my family, feed them healthy meals. We're not eating out as much. We're not throwing out as much. And I'm actually starting to make money at this. And so I see light at the end of the tunnel that I'll be able to quit my part-time jobs and be home even more. And now we're eating together more as a family. We're eating more healthy. It's been amazing.
Yes.
Okay, so that would be part 3. Okay, helping them, sharing the solution. And part 4 is, what are you excited about for the future? Okay, so tell me, what about Thrive Life excites you for the future?
Oh my gosh. You want one thing or many things, or
just one, simple, like you're brand new. I know right where you are, you've got 100 things,
Yeah.
but just one thing if you were brand new. Think back to when you were brand new. What excited you about it?
You know, honestly, the friends that you draw in with this was so exciting. I'm such a social person anyway, right? And so friends, and they became family, and I was excited about that. And the vision of the company, the executives have such a broad vision that I would never even tap into, but they have such big dreams, right?
Yep.
And I got to be a part of that, and I love that about it.
What about financially when you were first started out? You talked a little bit about that, but what did you see in a year or two, what the possibilities financially?
Well, financially, we were making definitely enough money for me to quit my part-time job.
Right, but what I'm saying is, like 3 or 4 days into it, what about the future financially excited you? What possibilities did you see?
What are you trying to get out of me?
So you saw that, hey, I think I'm going to be able to quit my job. And within a year or two, my husband could quit his, right?
Right.
So you saw some possibilities about the future,
Right.
It's hard to, she's been in it so long, to think back that far, where was I in that state? But I remember those are the things. So if I was the enroller and I just echoed that back to her, I'd say, so Lisa, make sure I get this right. So if I was you, I'd say, so now I found something. I'm so excited about the future because this is a company that's growing. It's a ground floor opportunity. I see the potential for me able to quit my job within 6 or 8 months. And within a year or two, I see the possibility for my husband to be able to quit his job and work with me full time,
Right.
which has been our lifelong dream.
Right.
Okay, so that would be helping them create the story. And you as the enroller, you need to kind of pull the things out of it that you want. Okay, so let's just kind of the things we're going to talk about are your background experience, what you liked or didn't like, what were the struggles with that background experience, your work and being a mom, what solution did you find, and then what were you excited about in the future? So why don't you, now I've kind of gone through it, now you say it back to me.
Say what back to you?
What we just did, your story. So your background experience.
Okay.
So I
was a manufacturer's rep working part-time, but a lot of days full-time, a lot of freeway time, a lot of hours. And I struggled because I wanted to be home more with my children. And I wanted to be able to provide a better life for them. And our mealtime experience, I wanted something more out of that.
Great. So then what was the solution you found?
The solution I found was Thrive Life. That was the solution, and sharing it with my friends, my family, anybody I could talk to, I would share it with them and get them excited.
Okay, and what are you excited about? Why are you excited about the future with Thrive Life?
Because this is here or now?
Back then.
Back then. The exciting part of that was I could see myself replacing that income, and then I also saw you replacing your income and going forward.
So you kind of want to just go through that with them, help them create their story. Now it's going to evolve. 3 months, 6 months down the line, they're probably gonna change that, right? Some, but in the beginning, help them create that, because that is so valuable for them to have a story they can tell, whether they're doing a one-on-one, a tasting in front of a group, an online presentation, whatever it is. The way to connect with the audience is to tell a story that they can relate to. Now, don't you think Lisa's story that she told, pretty much anybody could relate to that? Pretty much,
Probably,
right?
probably.
At least some piece of it. She was struggling with getting, food on the table, eating out too much, wasting too much, maybe wanted to quit a part-time job, whatever it is.
Yeah.
They can relate to some aspect of that. So once they've told their story, they want to transition now into their presentation with a question. And the question could just be something as simple as, have any of you ever felt that way? Have any of you ever struggled with the mealtime with your family? Would any of you like to find a way to get your family around the dinner table more often? Just something like that. Okay, that's how you transition now into the presentation. So that is a really, really important part of this meeting, and I would say probably the most important part, and that part probably might take 10 or 15 minutes, right?
Over the years, I have to tell you that the most powerful, I used to go to different people's parties, and the most powerful parties I ever went to are the people that stand up and tell their stories. And really that personal testimony is so powerful, and it transcends, and people relate. And so I love that about it. So if you can start your tasting or your one-on-one with that piece, it's so powerful.
Yeah, and how much further ahead are your new consultants going to be if in their very first tasting or one-on-one that they go out and do the day they get their kit, that they can share a story. You can help them develop a story that's relatable right from the beginning, and they're going to have so much more success.
Right.
Okay, the next thing that you want to do is help them get you want to help them get some success in their first 10 to 30 days. Now, success, I would say, would be defined as 2 or 3 customers and at least 1 consultant.
Right.
So what you want to do is you want to have them create a list, and you just say to them, let's create a list of the 10 or 15 or 20 people that you think would support you in this business, the most likely people to support you in the business, okay? Who just as a friend. And then how would you approach those people? It's not like you're trying to get them to buy something, right?
Right.
What are you going to do?
I just started this new business. I'd love for you to take a look and taste this food and tell me what you think about it.
Yep. For a brand new person, it can be very non-threatening. They don't have to say, hey, I'm will you get on the delivery? It's just, hey, I'd really value your opinion. I'd love if you would just take 30 minutes. I'd come over, I'd let you try it, and I just tell you a little bit about it and tell me what you think.
Yeah, I can come over to do lunch on Tuesday or Thursday. What works better for you?
Yeah. You can meet somewhere with these new to-go pouches. You can go anywhere, and you can give them a sample of the food.
Yeah.
Bring them some dry samples. The new starter kit box is designed to do just that, to get our new consultants sharing immediately. Okay, so then when they go and meet with those people, naturally some of those people are going to be interested in deliveries. If you have a good friend, would they not be willing to go on deliveries for a few months and just give it a try and give their feedback to you? And a few of them, 1 or 2 of them, may want to be a consultant. So just you want to get them out doing one-on-ones and tastings immediately, and all the new tools are designed to help them do just that. And if they get some success right out of the bat, they're a lot more likely to stay in the business.
Right.
Then the final thing that you want to do is help them understand the value of attending
meetings. And that should be our culture, is to get people to convention, to leadership. If you're having a meeting in your area, they should want to attend those meetings, because they're going to get more education and more just one-on-one with execs or whoever, and they're just so valuable in the direct sales world. And we need to do better in that area, is creating that culture of events.
Yep. You should be talking to your people right now, telling them you need to plan on being at the next leadership and at the next convention. When you sign brand new people up, immediately should be telling, okay, we've got an event coming up in 3 months. It's leadership, or it's convention, or it's a local meeting, whatever it is, and pushing them towards that, telling them right then you need to be there, and tell them why. So
Right.
that's so important. There was one thing in the getting them their first customers and consultants that I wanted to mention is, you should now, when they're doing this, you should have a back and forth constantly. You should know once she starts scheduling them, she should be telling you when those are scheduled, whether it's a one-on-one or a tasting, and you need to have a call before, finding out what her goals are, and a call after to see how what came out of it. What was she able to do?
So important
Yeah,
with
go
newbies.
over what they talked about. Did you cover consulting? Did you use the flip chart? Did you cover deliveries and blah blah blah? You know, all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And it will help that new consultant to improve their delivery so that they have more and more success. So you want to be following through every step of the way as they're doing this. And if they can do this in the first 10 to 30 days, they can get a couple of new customers, delivery customers, and 1 or 2 team members.
Yeah.
That gets them over the line,
Huge.
right? Over the line to where they're going to get a check. They're going to get some free product. They're going to say, this is easy. I can do this.
Yeah.
And they're going to be a lot more excited about sharing.
Yeah.
So really that's it, guys. We really want you to start using this getting started checklist in conjunction with a launch meeting. And it's going to really be a duplication tool that if you use it and then can teach your new people to use it, and even your current team to use it, we think you'll be able to get people started a lot right, have a lot more success, and grow your team like
Yeah.
never before.
Yeah.